This is Tucker Carlson's last invitation. Oh my goodness. So, Tucker Carlson's been in the news recently. I mean, the most recent one was with his absolutely demolishing Ted Cruz and him being a complete Zionist shield. Just absolutely just embarrassing to the point where Ted Cruz came off as un-American.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay.
Like everyone who had any suspicion of Israel, anyone who had any suspicion of Netanyahu, like Ted Cruz just justified and validated all their opinions of Israel. Okay, whether right or wrong, I'm just letting you know that wasn't a good look for Ted Cruz.
Figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that,
we're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help.
Nevertheless, you have Tucker Carlson, who was invited to a TPUSA event, and I find that very interesting, okay? Because if you don't think TPUSA is in bed with Israel, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, all right? We had Charlie Kirk talking about how, the USA was just a land, but Israel is something special, okay? It's something magical, something given to them by God.
I reject this idea of dual loyalty. I have loyalty to ideas. And of course I love the Grand Canyon, I love the Rocky Mountains, and I love Boston, and I love Chicago. But if all that disappeared and all I had was ideas, and we were on an island, that's America. That's Israel. And that's what people have to realize, that America's just a placeholder for timeless ideas. And if you fall too in love with, the specific place and all this, that's not what it is. Israel will be the exception because there is a holy connection to this land.
So that goes to show you where even not Tucker Carlson, but even Charlie Kirk's alliance really is. His alliance isn't with this country. His alliance is with a paycheck.
He's out of line, but he's right.
That's what many people have to understand. The reason why, let's say, even for example, Tucker Carlson, the reason why you have a Candace Owens who are now on the fringe, right? And that they're now, saying stuff, oh, we got to look at Israel. Why are we giving them finances? Why are we doing this? Is because they no longer have their job. That's why. They never brought up any of these conversations while they were working at Fox News. You never heard Tucker Carlson do any of this very hard lambasting and criticism towards Netanyahu or Israel when he was working at Fox News. You never heard Candace Owens say any of this, harsh criticism towards Israel while she was working for, Ben Shapiro. Never, not once. So you have to understand that this is a hustle in and of itself. It's just another hustle. The hustle is, now my eyes have been opened. I didn't see all of this. These are very intelligent people, okay? They're very calculated, methodical people. They very much knew everything they're saying now. They knew all of this when they were working for Fox News. Candace Owens knew what she was doing when she was saying anti-black propaganda with all of her documentaries and stuff like that about Judge Ford when she was working at the Daily Wire. The only difference is she was getting paid to do it. The only difference is Tucker Carlson was getting paid to do it. They were being rewarded and incentivized for them staying to script. Now they want to act, oh my gosh, I didn't know this beforehand. I'm just asking questions and all. You can miss me with that nonsense. Okay. Now, the plebs out there, they may see it as like, oh wow, she's turned a leaf or he's turned a leaf or he's starting to see it. No. They always saw it this way, bro. They just liked the paycheck that they were receiving.
Damn.
But having said that, we have Tucker Carlson who's at this CPUSA event, and he starts talking about Israel per se. I'm assuming he's been asked a question because he's responding it in in the same format. And he's talking about, hey, you know what? You can't serve two masters, and that's it's gold because he's using the scripture as a shield for his criticism against Israel.
I also refer to common sense when I say that no man can serve two masters. It's not possible. I only have one wife for that reason. You say to your wife, I'm going to take another wife, but I'm going to love you just as much. Nothing's going to change. My wife's going to look at me like, no, it's one wife. Because you can only really pledge your loyalty to one person or one country. That's just a fact. And
and he goes on further to talk about, hey, you can't serve, the IDF that anyone who serves in a foreign military shouldn't be allowed to serve, in the United States. You shouldn't have dual loyalty. You shouldn't have dual citizenship.
There's also a sense, and this is relevant to me, and I know you're speaking about Israel, but it's not just Israel, to be honest. I think it's a huge problem. I think anybody, by the way, who serves in a foreign military should lose his citizenship immediately. There are a lot of Americans who've served in the IDF, they should lose their citizenship. There's a lot of Americans who've served in Ukraine, and they should lose their citizenship. You can't fight for another country and remain in America, period.
Oh. You have an influx of people just getting out of there. They're walking out. And I find that very interesting because this is a TPUSA event. As I said, TPUSA is very much in bed with Israel. So for Tucker Carlson to be saying these things of dual loyalty, dual citizenship, they view that as anti-Semitism. That's how it's viewed. I'm sure you'll have Ben Shapiro who will say, hey, that's anti-Semitism, questioning my loyalty to the country of the United States. And saying that my true loyalty is to Israel.
Obviously, I mean, it's like not even, it's so funny how all of us have been cowed into being like, oh, that's hate speech. No, it's not. You don't hear hate in my voice because there isn't any. It's just an obvious recognition of the truth. But there's a more insidious thing, and I say it's not just Israel. I'm not just trying to like give myself cover. I'm being honest. There are a ton of countries that offer citizenship, actually. Some of which I love. I have been offered citizenship in a couple of different countries that I really like, and I thought about it.
Here's the thing. We've had on, multiple occasions of videos of people saying their true home is Israel. At the end of the day, if anything goes awry with Daily Wire, whatnot, he can always go back home to Israel.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And the point that Tucker Carlson is making is that, hey, there's a point where, you could possibly flee, but it's like, hey, no, my ancestors are here in this country. They died here. I'm not going to flee. I'm going down with the ship and, I have to, fight for this. He's like, our forefathers would, be rolling in their grave. They saw a foreign flag in the Capitol, in the U.S.
And then I thought, no, there's something about being lashed to the mast. Like, everyone can see that America's in trouble, the demographic trends are really bad, and the country's decaying and cities are falling apart. So you're like, oh wow, maybe I should flee. And then I'm like, my ancestors are from here. My parents are buried right across from my kitchen. I'm staying here. And the second you make that decision in your head, like, I don't care what happens to America, I will be here, it totally changes your attitude. You're like, I don't even care, it's my country. And they've been here for so long and fought in all of these wars. My ancestors, and I'm sure yours, would be totally shocked by some of the conversations. Foreign flags in the Congress? Are you joking? Get out.
And to essentially say that there is nowhere for Tucker Carlson to go, okay? He can't go back to anywhere because this is the land that he knows. And I'm going to let that slide. I'm going to let that slide because you could say, well, technically you come from a cave because you're a Neanderthal. I won't go there. I won't go that direction. But that's besides the point anyway.
Wake up, nigga.
The point being is that the people here who say that's anti-Semitism, they in fact do have a place to go. They in fact are in the United States lobbying for a foreign country. You're not lobbying for the U.S., you're lobbying for a foreign country, and you're using a mental gymnastics type of argument saying, well, I in fact am lobbying for the U.S. because lobbying for, Israel is beneficial to the U.S., okay? They're one and the same. There's a lot to unpack there, absolutely a lot to unpack there. But I don't think, as far as his sentiments that, Tucker said, I don't think there's anything anti-Semitic with it. I think there's a very harsh focus right now in Israel, given, they've been in the spotlight for a minute, given, the poor explanations and the reasonings that are coming to, whether it's Ted Cruz or other individuals, and people are starting to see, maybe we shouldn't be giving this much. Maybe we should be reinvesting this in the country. Maybe we should be doing that. But that'll never happen. Okay, that'll just never happen. That's why it's very easy to see this as anti-Semitism. Because when you have a Jasmine Crockett, when you have, I forgot the dude's name, but when you have anyone of Democrats who are saying, hey, we should actually be reinvesting into Americans. That's what we should be doing. We should be making Americans' lives easier when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, when it comes to even having a family, when it comes to home ownership. That's what we should be doing. And anytime any type of policy like that is brought up, it is shot down and deemed socialism. That's Marxism. That's communism. That's what they do.
Come on now, dawg.
But we don't have that same sentiment towards Israel. We don't have that same sentiment towards anything having to do with Israel. We're punishing companies who try to boycott Israel. So now we're foregoing the freedom of speech in this country, which it's the First Amendment for a reason, for the benefit of a foreign country. And when you bring that up, people, automatically go to anti-Semitism and try to shut it down, where it's like, well, if I were to bring this up for Ukraine, if I were to bring this up for Russia, if I were to bring this up for China, it would immediately, in your head, alarms would start ringing. And I think that's the bigger question. That's one that needs to be asked. And I think it needs to be answered. But I don't think it is. I'm going to be honest with you. That's not going to be answered. It's as simple as that. It's just not going to be answered. Just for the same reason why you're not going to have mass deportations of illegals here, of Mexicans or whatever, wherever they come from, Nicaragua, whatever. Doesn't matter, because they're too interwoven into the fabric that is this country, that is this economy. And for you to do that, everything would crumble. So that's something to think about. Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas, that was anti-Semitism. That is just 101 anti-Semitism. Simple as that. Or if you can't believe, I don't think scrutinizing Israel and some of the actions of the IDF and some of the loyalty where it lies, I don't think asking such questions like that is in and of itself anti-Semitism. Now, 100% asking questions, how they say, I'm just asking questions, just as it can be seen very much as a shield for racism, I can see it absolutely can be a shield for anti-Semitism. I think in this narrow scenario, that's not the case. But I could be wrong. Nevertheless, you're more than welcome to disagree, and those disagreement days are Thursday through Saturday. Number on screen, you call in, we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think, and subscribe. And that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. Now, no one's allowed to say that foreign government is Israel, because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty